Good evening, Cellercise family. This is Dave Hall. I'm grateful to be here, share with you some wonderful stories that we've accumulated, as well as some good questions. I want to encourage all of you who are watching tonight to feel free to ask any questions you can. Justice is behind the camera. Thank you, Justice. And he'll forward any of those questions to me. I want to talk just briefly, Cellercise. I get all the time, people ask me, well, why is Cellercise so good? Don't you have to build up muscle mass and bone density and don't you have to do, don't you have to tear down and build up? And shouldn't it be a workout? And I'm like, guys, I've been playing on this thing for over 30 years and so many more of you have. Cellercise doesn't have to be tearing down to build up. It doesn't have to be no pain, no gain. It doesn't have to be, you have to do 20 minutes as if cells have watches. You don't have to sweat. You can, but all of that has very little to do with getting the benefits of exercise. I don't even like to call this exercise. I like to call it Cellercise because it's 10 minutes a day or more, if you want, of not lifting weight away from gravity, but by increasing the weight of gravity. It doesn't limit the effect. It's on every single cell of the body over 100 times a minute. So no, you don't have to do 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes to get in good shape. Time doesn't mean much to a cell. They don't have watches. But how you challenge that cells within that amount of time, that really does make the biggest difference. Cellercise, as you build up the mitochondria, as you build up the strength in the cells and you open up the circulation because that's what it's doing, your endurance increases, your energy increases, your performance increases. You feel better, you perform better, and isn't that what we want? Have more energy, feel better, wake up in the morning ready to go, be able to sleep at night without the stress or tension in the body. That movement up and down opens up that circulation. It helps get rid of the stress and the tension. And there's so many advantages that Cellercise offers that typical exercise can't. I'm not knocking typical exercise. If you like it, do it. It's great. But how many exercises do you know that are going to help you become strong in an altered position, which gives you a competitive advantage when you're moving around? You're not worrying about falling off. You've got this incredible balance and strength because you're literally exercising in altered position. So you become strong in an altered position. But that's just the beginning of it. I know that there's so many of you that have shared many of your benefits. Please continue to share the benefits because it does inspire and motivate other people to have and enjoy these incredible experiences. And I'm going to share some of those with you right now. By the way, our rugs are in stock. We have the boxes now. They're supposed to be on our website. Some of the people involved with putting on were on vacation. They're back now. So watch for the new carpets to be on the site. Okay, so Heidi writes, raw and unedited. Mom got her Cellerciser for her 90th birthday in September, and she's loving doing it every day. She loves doing it to music, but as you can see in this short amount of time, it has elevated her mood and helped her butt cheek. She's reported many other benefits, but the best one is that the edema in her legs is gone, and she no longer uses her walker. She even walked a mile on the last sunny day that we had up here in Maine. Wow. And here's her mom, Cellercising, age 90. I love it. Cells don't get old. They're always replacing themselves. It's really never too late to begin Cellercise. And we strengthen the Cellercise or strengthen the cells at any age. And as cells get stronger and work more efficiently, so do body parts and functions. Okay, we're going to have some good questions. And some people that have had some challenges. And we want to address some of those as well. But yeah, we'll come back. Okay, Sherry writes, morning jumping work break done. Friday's lunch break, we get 45 minutes instead of 30. So I'll get to jump longer. Before pic was 11 years ago. She shows a before pic. And the progress pic was this past fall. Started jumping about 7 years ago. This morning before work, I jumped for 15 minutes during a movie, and after work, I'm planning on 25 minutes during that movie. And I want to share, that's exactly what we do in my family and with my kids. They do the same thing. We turn on the Mr. Rebounder app, and we'll generally have it on the balance bar, which I'm going to put on in a moment. What did I do with it? Oh, it's right here. And then we put our phone on the phone holder, and we watch a television program. And we're going to do a little bit of Cellercising tonight to work the lower extremities, and we'll talk about how important that is in just a moment. But we watch the show, the app will ding in between each movement, and we don't even pay much attention to it. We just follow the app and watch the movie, and it's become a habit in our home. So thank you. I agree with that. It's my way of getting shows and movies in. I just jump however I feel like at the moment. I mostly walk, lightly jog. Sometimes I sprint fast and go back to light jogging, health bounce. I'll throw in other moves that I see the twins, Sally and Stephanie, and Dave do as well. So thank you, Sherry. Thank you for sharing that very much. And yes, I agree. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, try the Mr. Rebounder app. It'll challenge you. Okay, Shelley writes, I got my Cellerciser for Christmas and just started using it regularly a couple of weeks ago. Man, what a difference it is making in my life already. I just had my 1-year mark of breaking my shoulder. I have not had full range of motion in it since until yesterday, 3 exclamation points. I just automatically reached for an item up high in a high shelf, and afterward it dawned on me that I did it with a straight arm and no pain, exclamation points. I'm so excited to see all the benefits that I know I will receive from Cellercising. Thank you so much for creating this amazing rebounder. I did tons of research before I made my purchase. So glad I went with this one. And thank you so much for your time and effort that you dedicate to the questions and answers in Mr. Rebounder app and YouTube videos. Thank you, Shelley. That makes a difference. And that's exactly what we're here to do, is to help make a difference. And that's what you're doing by sharing these. You're making a difference. So thank you. You made a comment in here. Oh yeah, shoulder. I ripped up my shoulders right out of high school. And it wasn't until I started my Cellercise program that I was able to take this arm again and throw a ball. I couldn't do it. I could not lift this shoulder. I learned how to do everything moderately. I started Cellercising and doing some of the shoulder movements that I developed, and within a month and a half maybe, I was able to throw a ball again with my son, who was growing up at the time, and it was a great experience. So being able to know that it is possible to regain that mobility and that strength by doing specific movements designed to target the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joint and the rotator cuff, we know that it can be a benefit. All right. Michael writes, Hi Dave, I want to share my experience with the Cellerciser family. Thank you, Michael. I was diagnosed with heart failure a couple years ago, and I've been trying to get better naturally since. During a conversation with a friend on a radio program, I heard a caller talking about the benefits of rebounding. It didn't take me long to start a search. Initially, I tried Amazon and through haste, bought a popular rebounder, which was quite good. However, I came across Dave Hall and was hooked. I researched all I could, including watching his old videotapes. Then I decided that I needed a Cellerciser to make a good go at getting better. So the rebounder I bought was returned. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I've had the Cellerciser now for around 6 weeks and noticed a difference. Number one. Yes, Justice, go ahead.
Angela just told me to tell you. She says, tell Dad I love my new bar so much more like her.
Oh, thanks, Angela. I love it. Okay, she's talking about the new Streamline balance bar, where we take a half-full balance bar and we pull it in so it's a little more narrow and it gives a little bit more room on the unit. Thanks, Justice. Okay, so Michael says, number one, I can climb 4 flights of stairs in my house before I use a stair lifter halfway and drag myself up the other 2 flights. He's climbing 4 flights of stairs now. Number 2, my muscles are stronger. Number 3, I can Cellercise now for nearly 20 minutes straight. When I started, I could only manage a few minutes. That's big. Cellercises, you're moving up and down, you're pumping with the heart. So you're making it easier on the heart to increase that circulation. It's all weight bearing. And when you put weight on a muscle over and over, the muscle adapts by becoming stronger. So we're getting the strength and the benefit without taxing the heart nearly as much as we might with other types of exercises. Yes, Justice?
Southwell asks, does rebounding help with neuropathy?
Oh, okay. Does rebounding, Cellercising, does it help with neuropathy? I'm going to show you a technique today. So we're working on the lower extremities. And it's a technique that I want you to share with me, because I've had people that have neuropathy who have indicated a benefit in doing one of the movements that we're going to do tonight. So I'd like to hear back from you on it. All right. Number 4. Oh, number 3. Just a second, let me get through Michael's. I love it. I can Cellercise now for nearly 20 minutes straight. Okay, only a few minutes when I started. Number 4, I'm sleeping better and longer. How many of us want to be able to do that? Get rid of the stress and the tension, be able to get better sleep and wake up more energized. I want to do housework and little chores. And that's a big thing. When you're feeling good, you're motivated, you want to do things. You want to embrace life, you're more proactive. You feel better. And that's a benefit I have found with Cellercise as well. Number 6, and amazingly, my heart feels a lot better and I'm walking better. Number 7, I'm aiming at improving my heart and come off the medication and live a normal Cellerciser life. Thank you, Dave, for inventing the Cellerciser and for being on the phone to offer advice and pep talks. Absolutely marvelous. And anyone out there with heart failure, grab a Cellerciser and start bouncing. And thank you. And I always say consult with your doctor or health practitioner or have them give me a call. I'm happy to work with them. I've worked with cardiologists. There are different approaches we can take on the Cellerciser, and you can share it with your doctor. Excuse me. But Cellercise can be a great adjunct and become part of a way of life for the rest of your life. For so many reasons, breaking up sticky blood cells, opening up circulation, that's all important. Keith writes, 20 minutes a day keeps the pricey doctor away. Thank you, Keith. Earthman writes, I love it. I was surprised that by calmly jumping up and down gently using your trampoline at night for about 10 minutes before bed, that I do sleep more soundly, less tossing and turning, and physically easier to get up in the morning. I'm glad I have one. Thanks, Earthman. Myrna writes, I love my Cellerciser. I feel great and I've been sleeping so much better. Thanks, Dave. It's kind of interesting how it comes in waves. A lot more on sleep and getting rid of the stress in the body. Christopher writes, that 30-minute health bounce every morning has improved my mood, my mobility, and my mentality. Thank you, Dave, for your dedication to our overall wellness. Thank you, Christopher. And Denise writes, we bought our rebounder almost 20 years ago, and it's the best fitness equipment we have ever purchased. Boy, that says a lot right there. Thank you, Denise. It has kept us in shape and nimble throughout our fitness journey over the years. The quality of the rebounder is amazing, and we've only swapped out a handful of springs. Dave Hall and his staff are top-notch when it comes to customer service. I recently called in to order a replacement attachment out to the rebounder mat, and David answered the call. We had a wonderful chat, and he showed such care and authenticity when it comes to customer service. Thank you, David, for providing a great way to stay in shape and for such a high quality product. And thank you. Springs. I just so you know, and in over 30 years, Justice, has anybody ever in our home broken a spring?
Nope.
Nope. We've never broken a spring. I've never broken a spring. Our springs don't break unless somehow or another they're being landed on top. If you land on top of a spring, it can fracture. So a lot of people do jumping jacks, and I suggest, well, number one, I'll show you a better jumping jack. And number two, and it keeps you well away from the springs, so you don't ever have to break a spring. But if one does break, they're not that expensive, and yes, they're easy to replace. But rather than landing like this, I'll do the movement up and down with the arms, which is fine, but then I'll hold on to the balance bar and kick my legs out side to side. When I'm doing it this way, I'm staying more centered in the mat, and when I come down, boom, that's a lot more weight than just doing a jumping jack. So I'm really working the waist and the hips more effectively. Yes, Justice.
We have a question from Frey. She says, I've been Cellercising 6 days a week for about 6 months, and I love it, but the ringing in my ear has gone substantially worse in the same time frame. Could it be related?
Not likely it's related to the Cellerciser, other than the Cellerciser might be trying to break up some blockages, opens up some circulation, but the Cellerciser in and of itself has been very helpful at exposing weaknesses within the body. So if it's an issue that's bothering you, it's a good idea to go check, see your doctor, and see if it might be something else that the Cellerciser has helped to expose. But the Cellerciser opens up circulation, doesn't restrict it. Yes, Justice.
Renee says, can you Cellercise if you have been diagnosed with a mild concussion?
With a mild concussion, again, consult with a doctor. Not necessary. You might want to wait for that, especially because we want the swelling to go down. We want to increase that circulation. There may be some things you can do, but there's some things you probably don't want to do either while that swelling is going down. Movements like this right here doesn't have a lot to do with the head, but it helps to move and pump circulation. And that increased circulation can help with the healing. So Cellercising, I wouldn't be bouncing up and down like that. But there are several things you probably can do that might help improve that circulation and healing. But again, if it's a medical condition, consult the doctor on that. Yes, Justice.
John says, just got diagnosed with Achilles Tendon Tear. Do you think rebounding can be okay to do after it heals, or could it be harmful?
For Achilles Tendon Tear, can Cellercise be helpful or harmful? Again, how you approach it makes a big difference. If you use just an ankle wrap around the heel, that gives a little additional support. And I've shared this before, doctors know bones and muscles, and ligaments and tendons heal faster and grow stronger when exposed to some stress. That's the idea behind the walking cast. Now, we don't want to overdo it, but Cellercise helps to increase circulation and its weight bearing so that it helps promote faster healing. So approach correctly, this gentle movement right here, you're not doing much with the Achilles at all, but you're getting a pumping action. You're flat-footed, you don't have to lift your heels up. You're just gently bouncing up and down, pretty much being done with the knees. As you're pushing down into the mat, you're keeping the foot flat. That can be very, very helpful at increasing the actual whole healing process. Yes, Justice.
Vicky says, can you totally replace other kinds of exercises like weightlifting with using the rebounder? How much time would you have to spend on it to get really strong muscles? And I'm in my 60s and need to develop my muscles.
Okay. For those who don't know me, and many of you do, this is all I've done for over 30 years. So as far as muscles, yeah, you don't have to do weightlifting. Weightlifting is more of a sport. It's more of a manipulation on the body. We're the only species in the world that does it, and you've heard me say this many times. But there are resistance movements you can do on the Cellerciser. The Cellerciser in and of itself is resistance. So it's not uncommon for people, including myself, when I first started, within a month, my wife asked me, she said, are you lifting weights? I said, no, I'm just playing on this before I go to work. After a month, I took it seriously. But no, there's no weightlifting involved. Why would you? I mean, you stop to think about it. Nothing wrong with it. If you want to go do that, it's a sport more than anything else. And it's interesting, but it's not natural. Cellercise is not weightlifting. It's weight bearing. It's so important we understand the difference. Weightlifting limits the effect only on the muscle doing the lifting. That's it. Weight bearing is on, with the Cellerciser, is on every muscle, every cell membrane, over 100 times a minute. The cells don't want to rupture, so the cells respond by fortifying their membrane with more protein. They become stronger and more flexible at the same time. We're not tearing down to build up. We can Cellercise every day, several times a day if we want. We'll get faster results. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's more intense. But again, it's more natural. The moment a baby stands up in a crib anywhere in the world, they bounce up and down. They'll want to jump on a couch or a bed. They bounce up and down. They jump up and down when they dance. That movement up and down is doing so much for the body as far as opening up circulation, getting rid of blockages, helping to detoxify, opening up capillaries, increase oxygen blood flow to the brain, pumping with the heart, challenging proprioception, equilibrium, and balance. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So Cellercise is, you talk about whole body, it is whole body. There is not a single part of the body that isn't involved collectively with Cellercise. So you're not just working muscles and bones, you're working the fascia and the connective tissues and the ligaments and the tendons and the collagen and the skin. Those are all organs within the body and they're protein fibers. And they're going to respond to the weight-bearing activity by getting stronger. They don't have a choice. Yes, Justice.
Renee says, can you collar on?
Can I what?
Collar on?
Call who on?
I just said collar on. I don't know what she means by that.
Okay. Help my son understand the question. Thank you. Collar on.
Okay. And then Paul says, you mentioned a phone holder earlier. Can you say a bit more like brand, cost, X?
Oh, yeah. Sure. This is a phone holder. This is a balance bar. When you open the phone holder up, you slide it over the bar, do a couple of turns, lock it in place. You put the phone on it, and you just squeeze the phone, put the phone on. With the balance bar here on the Cellercise, I can watch the show and just look down at the Mr. Rebounder app, or if you're watching something else, and see the next movement and continue to watch the show. So that's, oh, they're $25. So they're not very expensive. Yes.
Laura says, what can I do for my sciatic issue?
Sciatic. We're going to come to that. That's really important. I've got it written down because I've got a technique, a routine that has been so helpful for so many people that have been dealing with sciatic issues. And it's that nerve that kind of comes down here and wraps around underneath the muscles in the leg, and and there can be pressure on it, and that pressure is very uncomfortable. It can create a lot of grief. So what we want to do is open up that whole area, increase the flexibility, take pressure off the nerve, increase that circulation and strength and support. And we're going to talk about that in just a few moments as part of our program. So get your Cellercisers out, because we are going to do a program that works on the feet, the calf muscles, the knees, the thighs, the buttocks, so the lower extremities this week. And we've done the upper body, we've done the midsection, now we're going to do the lower section, and then the Mr. Rebounder app, these moves are in the Mr. Rebounder app. You can combine them to create complete routines like we've done on the Mr. Rebounder app, or you can create your own movements as well, or routines. Yes, Justice?
Sylvia said, please tell Dave I do jumping jacks. Oh gosh, it's annoying. Please tell Dave I do jumping jacks, following your instructions to keep my feet close to the center of mat instead of wide feet jump. Have no issues with the springs. Thank you.
All right. Good, good.
Paul says, do you sell the phone holders?
Yes. Yeah, they're on our website, Paul. You just go right to our website. You pick up a cell phone holder. You bet. All right. Now we'll come back to that. Okay. Okay, so here questions. We're at questions now. Awesome. And we've been answering them. I love it. So thank you all for those customer reviews. I hope everybody enjoys them. If there's something that you think would be of benefit to somebody that you know, please share and continue to share the program with others. We're growing, and it's only because of you. It's nothing that I'm doing. I'm just here to share what knowledge I have, what experiences I have. And again, for those that don't know, I've been doing this for over 30 years. I was the guy that was out there teaching people why this was so important and why I believe every single household in the world needs to have one of these. The Cellerciser is different than typical rebounders, as many of you know. They don't stretch out. They do hold up. They're built like a tank, and they have new technology. So we got the tridaptable spring. It doesn't matter whether you're 20 pounds or 400 pounds. You're going to utilize that portion of the spring based upon how high you're jumping or how much you weigh. So it's a unit that the whole family can use. My grandkids use it. They are incredible. My daughter sent me a picture of her little 3-year-old right now who is bouncing on it and just soaring. I mean, she's doing all kinds of things, but all my kids, all of them have grown up Cellercising. They're extremely coordinated. They're in great shape. And we want everybody to be able to enjoy those same benefits. So,
Ricky says, are you putting the last program, the abs, on the app?
Yeah, they've been on vacation, but that if that's not on it now under our intermediate or advanced section, I'll make sure that it is. In fact, let me look real quick because it's been submitted to be put on. Whoops. All right. Let's take a look real quick and see if they do have it in there. And advanced. So it's not in the advanced section. It's like the intermediate section. So it's not there yet. So I will follow up with a note tonight to ask them if they can get that on because it has been submitted. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So yes, we'll have that one on it, and we'll get this one on as well. And there we go. All right, so Lori writes, I need a good food plan. I jump every day and cannot lose weight even though I eat healthy. Any help would be great. You know, I've heard that question a number of times, and one thing I want to share is the idea of genetic mapping, and I think I've shared it before, is we're all built differently. Some of us will gain weight in the chest or the stomach or the hips or the back or the thighs or the buttocks or the stomach. And depending upon our genetic mapping, we can't really target reduce fat. So if you're burning those calories, you are burning those calories. And if you're burning more calories than you're putting in, you will be losing weight. But you may not necessarily be losing weight where you want it initially. So some people will lose the weight first in the top area. And when the body still needs more fuel, then it goes to another area. We just can't determine what that area is. A lot of that is just the genetic mapping. Men, I say the same thing if they have a gut and they want to get rid of the gut. I say, well, don't just do sit-ups because all you'll get is frustrated. You'll get strong stomach muscles, but nobody will see them. You have to burn off the weight. And the best way to burn off that weight is by using the biggest muscles of the body because they have the greatest demand for fuel. They're the biggest engines. And so that's why we do the Jamba walk or the Jamba run. We'll be doing the Jamba walk tonight because we're not looking to lose weight in tonight's program. We're looking to build up muscles and strength and supporting muscles around the joints. And so that's what we'll be doing more of tonight. But yes, we can lose that weight by doing repetitions of the Jamba run because you have to keep fueling the body. If you put a demand on the body has to meet the demand. So we just keep doing it. Now, there's other component parts. Diet, what we eat, has a lot to do with it. Hormones, imbalances in the hormones can have a lot to do with that as well. But irrespective, if you continue to do the Jamba run, you lose weight. I had to stop doing it as much as I used to because I was losing too much weight. My metabolism was too high. So it can increase metabolism, but it's more the intensity. You just have to be consistent, be on it, and know that it's kind of like a pendulum. If you've got a pendulum over here on the right side of the pendulum, that represents when you were younger and you had a high metabolism and you could eat just about anything you want and it didn't really matter. But over time, as we became more sedentary, we were less active, that pendulum starts to drop slowly and slowly. We're still doing okay, but slowly. And then it reaches the bottom and it crosses the bottom. And then all of a sudden, we just look at food and we're gaining weight. And it continues to go this direction and this direction. And then it gets over here and our metabolism is slowed down. We're gaining more weight. We're less active. Our diet maybe has changed. And we have to work to get that pendulum to swing back the other way. And it can take time. Many of you remember Christine. And Christine, she had health issues and some weight loss issues, and she was frustrated. It just wasn't happening, but she kept at it. Pretty soon that pendulum crossed that threshold again, and boom, she just started losing the weight quickly. So the mitochondria increases, the protein to fat ratio increases, metabolism goes up, and it just gets easier. So just hang in there. You're getting a lot of benefits you may not even realize when you're Cellercising. Yes, Justice?
Sophia says, what's the new routine you will do tonight? If I combine this new routine with the upper strength too, will this combined routine give total body R?
Yeah, okay. Good question. It's different focuses. I'm really here to teach you. If you have a specific desire to work a certain area, we'll go through it and you can get it and make it as intense as you want. But yeah, if you want to combine them, you certainly could. This routine here is going to be about 16 minutes. It's not too long, but you can make it as intense as you want, and I'll explain that as we get into it. Combining them, yeah, you can. You can. Keep in mind, I don't do a lot of these things. I do a lot of the movements that are on the Mr. Rebounder app. I love the weight loss one because it's a great aerobic activities, overall fitness, it's just good. My daughter does it every night, once or twice. But Cellercise is on the entire body anyway. We're just going to focus on certain areas. But yes, Justice.
Carrie says, I missed last week. Where do I find it? Find the routine?
Oh, yeah. The midsection last week or a couple weeks ago, that should be on our YouTube channel. So David Hall Cellerciser on YouTube, and that'll take you to the channel, and that's been posted, and you'll see that right up there. Lori writes, okay. Oh yeah, the food plan. Yes, well, there are lots of various different food plans out there. For me, it's more what I avoid than what I don't. I just have a pretty normal diet. I think the Cellerciser has made it easier for me to get rid of the stuff I don't need, but I don't do excess either. So I try to incorporate live foods in my diet every day. I think that's important because of the nutritional value and the ability of the body to absorb nutrients more efficiently. But if you really want to make a difference right up front, don't eat a big meal at night. Just eat a smaller meal, have a snack or something. But the biggest meals are in the morning. It's like when we fuel the car. Put all the fuel in the car, and we're going to race that car around all day long, and we're burning that fuel. Well, the body is either going to burn the fuel or it's going to store the fuel. So if you're not running around during the day, but you've filled the gas tank up, and your body is going through metabolic processes, there's doesn't perceive a need to burn it because you're not active. You're sleeping or you're quiet for the night. So the body stores it. So don't give it as much to store, at nighttime. And that can make the biggest difference is in weight loss right off the bat.
Scott says, so don't eat anything after 5:30 p.m.
Yeah, Scott, that's good. Well, you'll probably lose weight if you do that. You certainly won't gain it. And yes, that's really a good rule if you can. I don't follow that all the time, but I do feel better when I do. So that's good. Yes, Justin.
Rye says, I get so hungry right before bed and I eat no good.
Yeah, I know. You have to develop a new habit or recognize that when you eat that big meal at night, there's a consequence to the choices we make. I'll often, if I'm hungry at night and I want to eat something, I'll either eat some yogurt or, you do that, I know. Or Justin says peanut butter, he likes the peanut butter. Or I'll have cottage cheese. I'll just make some cottage cheese and I'll throw some fruit on there or even dried fruit and eat the cottage cheese with the yogurt. And that generally takes care of it for me and I feel good. Anything else, Justice?
No.
Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks for the questions. Yeah.
We just got one. Southwell says I didn't see the rugs.
Oh, didn't see. I know. Yeah. I know. They've been instructed to put them up. So I've got two things to work on. Getting the Mr. Rebounder program. I've written to our webmaster. I haven't heard back from him yet. I haven't seen if he's written me. And getting those mats up tonight. I asked him, can we get them up tonight? I think they have everything they need now. So give us tonight, tomorrow, and it should be, they better be up. Call me up if they're not. Anything else, Justice?
Lisa says, so try not to eat after sundown.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb, or just light, something light. Yeah, that's good. I'm not against eating something light at night. And if you eat something heavy, hey, I still love you. There's more of you to love, but that's all right. It's up to you. You can make a big difference by cutting back on the amount of food you eat. Because remember, the body burns it or it stores it. And you want to burn it. It used to be that people would go out on the farm and they'd work early in the morning and then they'd come in and they'd have this great big breakfast. That was the big meal because they're going to be using that fuel all day long. And then they would have a lighter meal at night. And we've kind of changed, gotten away from that somewhat, but that's, and you see what the consequences are. So habits have a lot to do with it. And I understand those habits take some time to break. I get it. It starts off, see it in your mind, visualize yourself not wanting a big meal. See it here first. Ideas affect the way we think. The way we think affects the way we act. The way we act, to a large degree, determines our results. So if we want to take charge of our results, take charge of the ideas you are allowing yourselves to be subject to. You have the ability to do that. And so when you see yourself at night, tell yourself, even whether you do it or not, initially doesn't matter. Plant the seeds of those ideas and let them take root. And see yourself eating healthy at night, not eating a lot. And telling yourself, I don't feel good after I eat a big meal at night. Even if you do, say, I don't feel good after a big meal at night. And then create all these reasons why you don't feel good after a big meal at night. Visualize it. Bounce up and down on the Cellerciser, visualizing it. Proclaim it. And watch it manifest itself in you. That's how it works. And that's, some people call it faith, the exercise of faith, the ability to see things not as they are, but as they can become.
Miriam says, exercises to firm up the chest.
Yes, yeah, we did that. Yeah, you'll see that in the upper body one that we did about a month ago. And so doing those movements while you're bouncing up and down on the Cellerciser will help strengthen the chest and the breasts as well, because there's protein fibers that run through the breasts that actually firm up as we're doing some of these movements on the Cellerciser. Okay, Cindy writes, on the day that you're going to the chiropractor, is it best to rebound right before you go to the appointment, or when you get back home, or wait until the next day? Great question, Cindy. If you can do it first, absolutely do it first. It's going to help loosen up circulation. And if you can get to the movements up and down to warm up the tissue, if you can do the gentle rocking side to side to loosen up the vertebral joints, chiropractors are working against muscles and the ligaments and the tendons that have adapted to the curvature of the back, and they have a tendency to pull you back out of alignment. So if you can loosen those muscles up, if you're able to do that, I mean, there's many different ways of doing it. Lifting the arm up over your head. I show these again on the Mr. Rebounder app as well, but leaning a little bit to the left, gently bouncing up and down, moving the leg in front to loosen up the lower back. Is the whippy ski patrol becomes other movements that you can do. You've got lots of different opportunities or options, but loosening up the vertebral joints, increasing that circulation, can help expedite that whole healing process. Right after an adjustment, if you can get on that Cellerciser and just gently bounce up and down. Now we're doing a little more conservatively, but we're moving up and down, so the muscles are flexing around the new alignment without pulling it out of alignment. We have made friends with so many chiropractors out there who work with us because they've seen the difference in their patients when they Cellercise and come to them, and how much better they are holding their adjustments when they do Cellercise. And we have a working relationship. I've learned so much from chiropractors. They've been great to work with, and they understand the value of what Cellercise can do when it's approached properly. So yes, the answer to the question, yes, it can be great to do that. SPA writes, can people with back problems like a slipped disc or a bulging disc like L3 or L4 issues use the Cellerciser? And again, the gentle movement up and down to help increase circulation, the gentle rocking, lifting the shoulders up, kind of lift yourself up. As you're gently rocking, we're taking pressure off of the back, opening up the vertebral joints to the disc. And if there's a subluxation or a pinched nerve or a slipped disc, somewhat herniated disc, you can lie down on the Cellerciser, and that has offered enormous benefits for people with lower back problems. You can see that on our YouTube channel under Back Health, where you're actually lying down, taking all the vertical pressure off of your back. It feels like heaven. And you put your feet up on a chair, a little pillow behind your head, somebody else bounces you. So you don't have any of the vertical pressure on the disc and off the nerves, and it has offered immediate relief in so many people. So that's something to consider looking at as well. All right, can people, okay, and with plantar fasciitis or feet problems? Yes, we're going to go over that, and I'm going to want to know what your experience has been. People that have foot problems, there's a technique that we're going to do tonight that addresses the strength and circulation and flexibility of the foot itself. It's a literal exercise that targets the arches, the heels, the balls, the front part of the foot. The weakest area of circulation in the body is in the lower extremities. It's the furthest area from the heart. And so yes, we can accumulate poor circulation and end up with various different issues. So we're going to target that, and I want you to let me know what you think. But are there any discount codes to reduce the price a bit? Joyful. Okay, I just watched a video on YouTube where it was mentioned that there is a money-back guarantee. Is that still available? Well, there's a 30-day money-back, yes. There's a restocking fee, so we encourage everybody, look into the Cellerciser. Know that it's something you're going to want. But if you don't, for whatever reason, yeah, we have a return policy. People in their 70s with diabetes and high blood pressure, can they try this? Absolutely. Check with your doctor and health practitioner. But it's been known to help lower high blood pressure, lower elevated cholesterol and triglyceride levels. The movement up and down, it helps to increase circulation. It helps balance blood sugar levels. There's a lot of benefits to exercise. And Cellercise is, I think, the best form of that because it's literally working collectively to pump with the heart, increase that circulation, and help balance the entire endocrine system. Everything is gently expanding and contracting collectively together over 100 times a minute. Okay. Does it help with hormonal imbalance in women, like thyroid, insulin resistance, etc.? It's been known to. We've had people that have cut back on their thyroid medication because of, in fact, I was just speaking to a lady a couple days ago, same thing, because they're noticing a difference, a change. Hormonal imbalances. Cellercise, we already know, creates an enormous amount of balance. An enormous amount of strength imbalance. You've seen that in the strength and balance test, which is legitimate. And well, you have to ask yourself, and we need more research done on this, is it helping with hormonal balance? Because it literally is working collectively to stimulate the thyroid, the adrenals, the endocrine system, pituitary gland, everything throughout the entire body is expanding, contracting, expanding, contracting, over and over without a jarring effect. The jarring effect is what damages the body. It's what tenses the body up. It's what restricts circulation. It's what accumulatively will take more out of the body than it's ever going to be able to give you in return. So you look at these people that do a lot of long distance running and jogging. Great, fun, love it. You want a longer career doing that, Cellercise before and after. But know also that that pounding, jarring effect accumulatively is damaging to the body. So if you do it a lot. Yes?
I thought you'd want to hear this. Julian says, thank you, thank you, thank you. My right foot has been in severe pain for the past 2 years. I've tried everything, so I am very excited for tonight's foot exercises.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to start off gently, but this is intense. And it doesn't necessarily, when we're dealing with the foot, doesn't necessarily feel good initially. But with most people I've talked to, ultimately or right after, it really does. And they notice that difference. So, all right, Karen writes, mine is complicated. I'm nearly 66 years old. Beginning in high school, my right hip bothered me. I finally had hip replacement surgery 4 years ago, but COVID dumped me into the desk job for a minimum of 10 hours a day. So I didn't get the movement in that I'd hoped now that I had a new hip. My left knee is bothering me. I got into physical therapy February 16th last week, and she agreed that the pain is due to my left leg always working hard to compensate for the right hip pain for all those years. I've been rebounding since July 2023 and can rebound for 60 minutes, my time allotment, because I have a job. All the moves you all say will help and strengthen the knees on the rebounder have not. The physical therapist said not to do things or moves that irritate the knee. I've got some moves they recommend, but like once a day for 30 seconds each. Should I just stick with their recommendations, or would you have any suggestions? Yes, Karen, I do. Knee problems, hip problems, back problems, shoulder problems are generally the same problem. They're either weaknesses or injury in the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joint. And until we address the supporting muscles and ligaments that around the joint, that support the joint, chances are we're going to continue to have problems. And if we don't address the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joint and strengthen them, very often we're going to have bigger problems, which will accumulatively get worse and worse. We've worked with a great many people over the years at teaching them the techniques that can take time. Ligaments and tendons you've only been doing it since July. Ligaments and tendons they can take a year, they can take 2 years to build up. They take a long time. They're not like muscles. Ligaments and tendons take a lot longer. to adapt. And if we have weaknesses in those ligaments and tendons, it can take some time. We need to give it some time. When I tore my knee up, and many of you have heard the story about it, when I tore it up horizontally, the meniscus horizontally and vertically in more than one area, the doctors all said I had to have surgery. I would bend my knee and you would see it pop out of joint. And I didn't do that. I got a wrap for support, and you can do that. If you get a wrap, a knee brace or hip, or whatever you can get to help support that area while you're strengthening it, that can be very helpful. Now, Cellercise is not jarring, and if you're going to walk on the ground, you're going to get more jarring walking on the ground than you're going to get Cellercising on this unit. So if you're just doing gentle movements like this, you're not using much of the knee right now, and that's okay, but it's warming up the tissue. The tissue is expanding and contracting. We're increasing the circulation. And then when we bend at the knee slightly, and we just gently rock side to side. Now, if you take your hands and put them into your hip, directly underneath the hip bone there, you're going to feel all those muscles and ligaments are now working. Your hips are dropping into the mat. You're getting that gentle weight-bearing activity that helps to strengthen those muscles. We can start to do the gentle twist eventually, which is going to help, can help dramatically improve hip flexibility as well as the lower back, and it's great for digestion elimination too. But this gentle movement here, side to side, there's more movements. But the bottom line is, if you don't do something, what are you looking at? You know, there are things that we can do to strengthen the body, even when we feel like it's in a very weakened state. Cells are always replacing themselves. We can often replace them. We can replace them with stronger, healthier, more efficient cells. And over time, as they get stronger, healthier, more efficient and flexible, we're able to retain more fluid in that joint area. And often those issues can fade away. Working with the doctor can help expedite that whole healing process as well. Okay. Helena writes, what do you think about using dumbbells on the trampoline? I don't. I don't think it's a good idea. Helena, we talked about this. Dumbbells, when you're bouncing with them, you're leveraging a lot of weight depending on where they're held and what position on ligaments and tendons, and it can cause ligament and tendon issues because it's leveraged. And some people will do it, and a lot of people I've talked to have had problems as a result of it. But you can just do the natural isometric movements and the isotonic movements with the movement up and down on the Cellerciser, the way that we demonstrated last month. All right. Zara writes, I have two relatives who have had heart operations. One has a stent and another has a pacemaker. Is it safe for such patients to Cellercise? Again, consult with your doctor and health practitioner, but what we have found is that the movement up and down makes it easier on the heart. People that might not be able to do other types of exercises or activities can Cellercise because they're pumping with the heart. They're opening up that circulation. They're breaking up the sticky blood cells so that they can circulate more efficiently within the body. Pauline writes, Jess joined your app. Loving it. Question, someday could you configure the app that maybe we could share someone else's cloned workout? Yes. Hold on to that thought. Watch for the future. We're working on it. Okay, how long does one stay at beginners? It seems too easy for me. Well, then you can go on. They're graduated programs, absolutely. Alina, go ahead and pick one that you feel comfortable with. You don't have to stay. It takes a few weeks for the body to adapt to the Cellerciser. You're moving up and down all the connective tissue, the fascia. It's weight bearing on areas of the body that haven't really experienced this kind of activity for years. And now you're moving up and down. Give yourself a little bit of time for the body to adapt. Drink lots of water, but eventually as it's adapting, you can continue to progress. And that's great, but listen to your body, which it sounds like you are. Myrna writes, I wanted to ask you, will Cellercising help lower cholesterol? And if you could give us some more good food recipes. I've been eating the yogurt recipes and we love it. Thanks, Renee. Yeah, I can do that. I need to do that. I agree. I was known as nicknamed the burrito man. Okay, I would put black beans or pinto beans and tortilla, and I'd put in avocado and lettuce and tomatoes and all kinds of different things. And I would create these burritos that were really, really good. I still do to this day. So I was nicknamed the burrito man. Everybody know, oh, there's the burrito man, because that's what I ate all the time. Because you put a lot of good things in those. I had sprouts at one point. You know, I'd put sprouts in there too. So I throw cottage cheese in it. Just healthy, a solid bar of nutrients. Every day you want to, we're in a partnership relationship with these bodies, and how we provide for them today absolutely has a lot to do with how they're going to be able to provide for us tomorrow. So recognizing that we're in that partnership relationship, be conscious of what food the cells need to eat. We eat people food. It's what tastes good to us. It's what the cells often have to put up with. But we should consider turning the menu over to the cells every day. Let them choose what they want. We don't know what it is, they do. So rather than try to second guess it, just give them a good salad bar of nutrients, good healthy nutrients. You can do it with a green drink. You can throw some live foods into the green drink, and I'll do that too. So you've got all the nutrients that the body needs to have to maintain the structure and integrity of the body parts and their functions. So yes, to answer your question, I'll work on doing more of those. What about if there's a disc nerve compression issue? Is it safe to use? Good question, V. If you have a disc nerve compression issue, again, consult with your doctor as to what restrictions you might have. But one of the great movements is where you lie down on it. You lie down and somebody else gently bounces you up and down and rocks you side to side. Myrna writes, hi Dave, can Cellercising help with hypothyroidism? We've heard people that have had good results from that. Karen, I hate to ask such a question, but what other rebounder might you suggest? We all know the Cellerciser is the best, but I've got two women who need to rebound desperately, but neither can afford $600, let alone $300. Karen, I understand, and I don't have an answer for you. If I can make it less expensive, I would. I turned down half a dozen infomercials because I did not want to compromise the integrity of the product. The reason this works is because of how it's built and the component materials that we use. That mat material, you can't stretch it out. If you get a unit that costs less, but the material stretches with the springs, you can be asking for trouble, because as the mat stretches, your feet start turning in and pronating accumulatively over time. That ends up causing ankle problems, knee problems, hip problems, and back problems. I won't produce a unit that is going to compromise it. So I don't know of another unit that is built like a Cellerciser. We have the steel in our springs. The steel in these springs is so strong, many of you have seen them, that they destroyed the conventional spring molds. But if you can see these springs, and you know it, they have a ridge and a taper and another ridge and another taper. We had to create a tungsten steel mold just to be able to produce our springs. That's why we have to wait in line longer to have our units manufactured, because a lot more cheap units are being manufactured, and it takes a lot less time and it's less money. I have to wait because I don't want the cheap materials. I want the good quality materials. And so that's why. So yeah, it costs a little bit more. Somebody wrote me a beautiful little statement. He says, buy once, cry once, but smile the rest of your life. That's the Cellerciser. Okay, Janet writes, how many minutes a day do you really need to Cellercise to see weight loss? It's not the amount of time, Janet. Cells don't have watches. Time doesn't mean a lot to the cell. It's how the cells are challenged within the amount of time that really makes the difference. I don't know of anything that is more intense. Did we lose anything, Justice? Are we still on? Because it blinked.
It looks fine.
Oh, good. Sorry, guys. My camera blinked at me and I wasn't sure why. All right, so we use the biggest muscles of the body. They're the biggest engines. They have the greatest demand for fuel. We do it in a way you cannot through any other modality of exercise. And that's the jamba walk or the jamba run. It keeps the weight over the thighs and the buttocks. So we use those big muscles. And if you want a good routine to follow, my daughter lost 26 pounds in a couple months doing the fat eradicator, sometimes twice a night. That's on our Mr. Rebounder app. And it's 20 minutes. Is it 30? I think it's 20 minutes. Fat Eradicator 1, 20 minutes long. And then we got Fat Eradicator 2, which is just over 10 minutes long. Kylie writes, is there any feedback from someone with hypothyroidism using the Cellerciser? And yes, we have. They should be in our customer review section now on our website. So if you go to our cellercise.com/reviews and do a search, you should be able to see some of the comments that people have made with that. Okay, wow, so it's 7 o'clock. We don't have a long routine, but thank you for all the questions. That was great. And again, there's so much information in tonight's program that I hope we can share it with other people. But yes, Justice.
Our Rise says, my knees get agitated every even with the health spouses. Any adjustments you would recommend?
Yeah, if you get a knee brace, you can get a knee brace to help support your knee while you're working on building up the supporting muscles and ligaments. And that can offer a little additional support. But, you know, sometimes things feel worse before they get better. And it's just like cleaning up a bedroom. You pull all the garbage out and then you reorganize and restructure and you get it, you put it back together. And Cellercise has been known to do that. There's a detox effect. It dumps a lot of toxins and it challenges the weaknesses of the area. We often feel weaknesses we didn't even know we had, but the Cellerciser exposed them. They were already there. It doesn't cause them. It's too gentle for that, but it exposes them. So if you have a weakness there, you're exposing the weakness. We do what we can to address them by focusing on the best remedies we can, which is helping the body do what it best knows how to do to create, maintain, and heal itself. And Cellercise can help with that. Okay, so let's go over this routine a little bit because I want to explain it to you. I'll bring this. You said that it's kind of glary. I don't know if they can see it or not, but we're going to, okay, so this is under my workouts, which is at the bottom. And give it a moment to come up. Okay, that was the ab one that we did. And the one that we are doing today is right here. All right. This is leg and lower body strength. So I'm going to read a little bit about this. So the first thing we're going to do is a baby health bounce, and that's generally just to warm up the body. We want to warm it up. We want to open up the circulatory channels so we can get the circulation through the capillaries and the areas of the body. We want to warm up the tissue so that it's pretty much taking the place of stretching.
Do you want them to see your face or no?
No, that's okay. That's all right. And then the hip rock. So then we'll do the hip rock, which is going to work on the, let's go ahead and just show it, which is going to work to loosen up the muscles in the hip area. And if you lift the shoulders up and down, we're loosening up all the vertebral joints in the back as well. It's just, again, warming up the ligaments and tendons so that the circulation is good. And then we're gonna do the twist. Now we're gonna do the twist because we want to, again, further loosen up the muscles that we're gonna be really working. And the sciatic nerve wraps around the waist here, kind of drops down. We wanna loosen that area up so that we can do more intense movements. Then we're gonna do so we'll do the twist at the waist, and then for the sciatic area, we're going to do the twist again and they're just 30 seconds, so these aren't really long. We're going to do the twist where we stand on the Cellerciser, and instead of going from the waist, we're just going to go in the hip socket area. So this just right here, this is the #1 exercise that seems to do the most. We've had the most incredible results for people that have sciatic issues that they've been dealing with. So we'll do that. And then we'll do the baby health bounce. But the next time, okay, this baby health bounce that we're going to do is a little different. It's a slight change in the emphasis. So what we'll be doing, and this is for the feet, is because we're going to work from the lower extremities up. Weakest area of circulation, lowest extremities, we're working our way up to the waist. So we're going to do that health bounce. What we do is we lift up and down, but instead of coming down with the heel, we stop just before we hit the mat. So it's kind of like we're pushing down into the mat, and the heels are moving up and down, but we're creating more resistance with the foot. We're not just flopping or letting them go up and down. We're actually holding, we have movement still, but we're creating a resistance with that movement, which is really working the fascia, the muscles, and the ligaments. Not jarring, but it's working the whole structure of the foot as we're doing that. So again, I'm going to show this to you so we get this right. Is as we're moving up and down, this is normally the baby bounce right here. Subtle difference is that as we're moving up and down, now we have our foot flexed. We're pushing down into the mat. We're more on the balls of our foot. Our heels are still coming up and down, but we're not really coming down all the way. We have that little resistance. So we're kind of pushing down into the mat with the balls of our foot and keeping our heels from just coming down into the mat like they normally would. Now, that has, it's a different emphasis. Lifting the heels up and down is very important because it pumps the calf muscle. When we're resisting with the heel a little bit, we're going to be working the foot, but we're also going to be working the calf muscle. So the calf muscle, again, the weakest area of circulation in the body, and you can see the Cellerciser, it will build up. It builds up and strengthens all around the calf muscle. This is so important for good circulation. We want strong, healthy calf muscles, and the Cellerciser can help us do that. Real important. So that's going to be for the foot. So subtle difference, again, coming down on the balls of your foot, but pushing down into the mat with the balls of the foot and creating a little bit of resistance by not letting the heels go down all the way. And that's going to work more the calf muscle, and it's going to work the foot. And let's see, initially it may not feel very good, okay? But when we're done, write me and let me know if it feels better. Love to hear that. Okay, then we're going to do the Jamba walk. Again, the purpose of that, we're going to be working the muscles of our thighs. And I want you to do something if you can, because many of you have done this, some of you may not have. If you take your hands and you stand straight up, if you can just do this with me, I think you're going to understand why this is so powerful. If you take your hands and put it on top of your thigh, just like that, squeeze the muscle, hold on to the muscle of your thighs. And while you're holding on to them with your fingertips, I want you to keep your back straight, bend at the knee, and feel how tight those muscles are. Those muscles are working right now. Continue to hold on to those muscles and lean forward and feel how soft the muscles got. Okay. The Cellerciser incorporates a movement that you cannot do on the ground. Football players do something similar, but they cheat. They get up on the balls of their feet, they lean forward, which takes the weight off the thigh and puts it on their back. and then they run really, really fast right next to the ground. Well, that's not nearly as effective as when you keep the weight over the thighs, keeping your back straight, and you feel the difference. You put the weight on the thigh, and you're going to be pushing down into the mat. It's intense. These muscles are going to work, but that's how we're going to build up these muscles. That's how we're going to build up the circulation in the capillaries within the thighs, so we get better access to burning off fuel. But it's also strengthening the supporting muscles and ligaments around the knees. Wonderful technique, very effective. You'll love it and you'll hate it, because we all do. It's intense, but it works. And that we'll do for about a minute. So we'll do about a minute of it. And then what we'll do is we'll do the health baby bounce again, same way, where we're pushing down with the balls of our feet as we're bouncing up and down, but resisting it and keeping our heels so that they can't go down all the way. So we're going to do that again. And then when we're done with that, we're going to do the jamba walk again. So this is all dealing with circulation and strength in the supporting muscles and ligaments and in the big muscles of the body. And then what we're going to do right after the jamba walk is we're going to do the ski patrol. Okay, and that ski patrol, we'll hold on to the balance bar. I'm going to put that on in just a moment. And we're going to just gently jump side to side. Now we're working the hips, the thighs, and the knees. And with all this G-force, but without jarring. And that's fantastic for any physical activities. You like to play pickleball, or you like to go skiing, or tennis, or any number of activities. That's very helpful for that lateral movement and for strengthening the knees. And then we'll do, okay. Then we're going to do a stand and sit. You know, I was talking to the phone somebody earlier today, and they said, if you're in good shape, that even when you're in your 60s, and I'm 67, to be able, can they see all right, Justice, you're watching the camera? To be able to sit down without using your hands and stand up without using your hands is an indicator that you have strength in your legs. Our legs are so important for all of our physical activities, especially as we're getting older. When we start to lose it in the legs, we start to lose our enjoyment to a large degree of life. So we're going to work on helping to restore and get that back. But just, taking your foot, kind of sticking it behind, and then sitting down on the ground, and the same way you stand up, the same way. Some people have a hard time doing that. We want to help improve that. And so one of the movements that we're going to do, if you're able to do it, if you're not able to do it, do the hip rock. Just stay up and do the hip rock. But we're going to do 50 of where we just sit down on the Cellerciser and stand up, and sit down and stand up. So it's just a little rock. That Cellerciser will help you get back up and down as we're working the knees, because you have a little bit of a bounce as you stand up. So we want to build up those supporting muscle ligaments. So we'll do that. That's in the app. You'll just see it a little differently. In the app, it'll the stand to sit will look like, it'll just look like this. Don't expect to keep up with him. I can't keep up with him. But I'm just taking that movement to illustrate that that's the movement we want to do in that app. Okay, and then we're going to do the back kick. And the back kick is so that we are working the buttocks. This will really strengthen the lower back and the buttocks, that whole area. Now you see people that will do exercises like this where they're just kind of lifting up and down, and that works. But with the Cellerciser, it's far more intense, because we're not just lifting our weight away from gravity. We're increasing the weight of gravity. It's on the whole body, and we leverage that weight by kicking our legs out behind us this way. So this is much more intense than just this. So go easy on it, and we'll build it up. Okay, and then we'll do the twist, because we want to loosen up those muscles in the back that we've just worked. Want to help create some balance there. Then we'll do the ski patrol 2. And that's intense. The ski patrol 2 is where we'll, and if you can't do that, just do the hip rock, or just do the jumbo walk, or just do the ski patrol. But what we'll do is we'll do this one here, which is just as if you were running, going down the slopes. Same burn feeling, same muscles. And then we'll do the hip rock, which loosens things up. Then we're going to do the health bounce again to prepare for the last movement. And that last movement, and this is all strength of the ligaments, the tendons, the muscles. The last movement is not in the Mr. Rebounder app, so I'll take you through that. And that's where you want to have the Cellerciser. Many of you see me do this before, and it's extremely effective. There's a couple ways of doing this. For leg strength, one of the techniques is just the vertical leap, where you just jump up and come down squat, the vertical squat. So you jump up, come down, bend to the knee, jump up, come down, bend to the knee, jump up, come down, bend to the knee. That's great. It's good for coordination, good for balance. It's good, it's intense. We're going to do a little differently in this program. And that's going to be the movement where you start off, you put your hands on the chair, you're going to bend to the knee. Now, you don't have to bend very far if you're not comfortable doing that. Just bend a little bit, jump up, come down, jump up, come down. As you're stronger, you'll come up, jump, come down, come up, come down. And we'll do about 50 of those. We'll see. We'll see if our legs are able after that to do it. But that, and if you think it's too easy, then do 100 of those leg jump squats. You can decide the intensity. This is a great program. And if you can get as much out of it as you're willing to put into it. So let's go ahead and get started. This routine is just over 15 minutes. So it's not going to be that long, but it is a good routine. And if you can't stay with us tonight, I get it. I understand. We will have this on our YouTube channel tomorrow. So if you wanted to join us tomorrow night and do it, you're welcome to do that too. But if you have foot issues, I really want to hear from you. When you're coming up and down, keep your feet, just be aware of how your feet are positioned as you're coming up and down. You want to have them so that as you're coming up and down, your feet are pretty much pointed straight ahead. You want your knees kind of pushed out a little bit. So it's that movement. So we're ready? Let's do it. All right, this is lower or leg. This is leg and lower body strength. We're going to deal with the legs, the calves, the buttocks, the knees, the feet, and the ankles. And I'm going to connect to the wireless module. Go back to our workouts. And all right, we are ready. Music. Turn it down some. Okay, can they see this at all? Sorry about that. Okay, gentle movement up and down. Purpose, increase circulation. This is great to get rid of stress and tension in the body. It's really, I don't do any stretching unless it's on the Cellerciser, but this movement up and down just massages and breaks up the stress and tension in the muscles and the ligaments and the fascia. Just something we should do every day. And I encourage sports and athletes, or anybody who's in athletic sports, Cellercise before you stretch. It's much more gentle and it warms up the tissue much more effectively, so you get a better stretch. Okay. Yes.
Julian says, I will keep you posted. Was in bed but getting out and up on my Cellerciser. Too excited to wait until tomorrow. Now feet, here we come.
All right, welcome. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the twist in the hip socket area. So we're going to keep the waist straight ahead, and we're just opening up the muscles where the sciatic nerve wraps around. We're loosening up these muscles. And we're increasing flexibility and circulation in the hip joint area itself. Okay, now push down. You're keeping your heels up, pushing down with the balls of your feet. Like I said, it may not feel all that good to begin with, but you're kind of working your toes and the balls of your feet. You're keeping your heels up. And if it gets to be too much, then by all means just let the heels come up and down a little bit. But you'll get as you come down, you kind of lift the foot, the heel against the downward motion so that you feel it in the calf muscle. And you should be feeling a little bit in the calf muscle now. And you may feel it in the toes. You may feel it in the balls of your foot a little bit. Not any fancy moves. They're just basic moves, but they're effective. I forgot to put the balance bar on. So. Okay, you do the jumbo walk coming up. I'm going to put the balance bar on because even I do a much better jumbo walk having something to hold on to. I'll grab the chair. All right, so now we're pushing down. Keep your back straight, your feet flat, push down into the mat. You don't need to take your feet up off the mat, hardly at all. You want to stay flat-footed. So this is to build up. I mean, take your hands, put them on top. Feel how those muscles are working. They are working. We got a minute left to go. I see people do squats and all kinds of things, and it's great. You can do that. I just do it this way. This really focuses on building up the knees too. I hope I'm not the only one feeling this. Okay, 15 seconds to go. When we're done with this, we're going to do the health bounce or baby bounce again, keeping our heels up. so they don't come down all the way. We have that resistance, which works the calf muscle and the feet. So you're working your toes. You're working the toes and you're working the ball of your foot. So you're really, the weight's on the front part of the foot, but you're also holding your heel up. So you can also feel it in the calf muscle.
So you're bouncing off the front?
Yes. It's better to hold on to something when you do this one because you can focus the effect better. Yes?
Bia says, is this on the iPad program under which section? Thank you, love when you demonstrate.
Yeah, it will be under the Mr. Rebounder app. And the only movement that will not be on it is we call it the leapfrog, which is the last movement anyways. Whatever we have left, we're not going to have much left. Okay, now we're going to do the jumbo walk again. But you can see how doing this and watching a television program can be so effective because you're enjoying the show. And your body's getting this enormous workout. Anybody feeling it in the thighs yet? I am. Love it. Don't overdo it. Just so I tell people, they say, oh, you can't do, that's too easy. No, it's not. Not if you do it right.
20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Rye says, what was the one before holding onto the chairs you said for good knees?
The one we're going to do at the end?
Well,
that's the leapfrog.
You just did it and you said it was good on the knees.
That's this one.
That's this one? Okay.
Yeah. If you're playing volleyball or basketball, then we do that, the leapfrog where you just jump up and come down. But we're going to do a leapfrog a little differently. Okay. Ski patrol. Go at your pace. Okay, when we're done with this one, we're going to do the stand and sit up and down. And you can, if you have the Mr. Rebounder app, if you want to do any of these for a longer period of time, you can clone. You have a button that says clone, and it will clone all the movements. And then you can give it a different name and then customize it. Change the move, increase the time. You can move the movements into different positions by putting your finger on it and moving it up and down the screen. Okay, 5 seconds to go to the stand, sit movement. So just sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. You gonna do this one justice? Yeah, good.
I think I'm gonna try it tonight.
Good. All right, back kick. Okay, when we're done with this, we'll do the twist. Yeah.
Laura says, "Hi, sciatic feels better. We'll do this every day. Thank you so much."
You're so welcome. Okay, now we're going to do the twist. And for those who are dealing with sciatic issues, we'll do this for 30 seconds, and then we'll do the twist in the hip socket area. All right, so right there, now we're keeping our waist straight ahead. We're targeting the hip joint. Okay, then we're going to go do ski patrol number 2 for those who can do it.
Angela says Dave's a machine.
Huh?
Angela says Dave's a machine.
Oh, yeah. I'm so grateful for all of you. But this is the same burn feeling you would have if you were on the slopes. Twenty seconds. 10, 5. Okay, hip rock. Okay, so we're going to do this. Then we'll do the health bounce for a minute. And then it's going to end. But those who want to get a more intense lower body workout, we're going to do the leapfrog. Okay. And if you want more in the calf muscle and the toes, the foot, just go ahead and stay on the balls of your foot and work at keeping that heel kind of resist every time you go down, you have the heel come up. It's a subtle difference that you should feel in the calf muscle when you're doing it right.
Rachel says, how do I subscribe on YouTube to see the video?
Oh, you don't have to subscribe. Just go to our YouTube channel. Okay. David Hall Cellerciser. We don't charge for that. We charge for the Mr. Rebounder app, but there's reasons for that. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to see if I do a better job this time than I did last time at doing 50 low knee bends, jump up, come down, and jump up again. If you can't go down very far, that's okay. But I'll just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Baby bounce. Catch your breath. And you should feel that. That's an intense movement. Go easy. Let the body build up. You don't have to push yourself real hard. You play on it. It works on you. All right. So let us know what suggestions you have. If you have any, let us know how your feet feel. Let us know how, we're going to keep catching our wind here, but let us know overall how it feels when you're done. Let us know how you feel tomorrow. And be sure to drink lots of water. It's real important. But write down any questions, share any customer reviews, share it with those you care about if you think it can be beneficial to them. And thank you so much for being a difference as part of the Cellercise family. Thank you. It's an honor to be able to serve you. Have a great week. Let me know how I can help. Thank you.